The Trump trade. What is the Trump trade? And please be careful. And before anyone starts to attack me, I want to be absolutely clear. I have a green card. I can't vote. I am going to get my citizenship, but this show is impartial. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I'm not a hater of Donald Trump. I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm neither. Actually, I'm completely neutral because my job is to provide the most honest, real, impartial, factual news that I can possibly find to bring you so you can make informed decisions. Now then, the Trump trade. Everyone's calling it the Trump trade. A lot of stocks went up, a lot of stocks went down. Donald Trump claimed that he spoke to Putin, had a phone call about ending the war in Ukraine. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, and I can show you the evidence of it now. Now, you might love Trump, you might hate Trump, but I think even those that love Trump know he kind of stretches the truth a little bit, more often than not. However, we're not going to Trump bash. We're also not going to say it's great either. The fact is, he's not in power yet, but he's made a whopping exaggeration. Don't want to use the word lie. You can use that yourself. But however, I'm going to share with you, this is so important because of Donald Trump winning, everyone thinks Bitcoin's going to go up forever. Donald Trump cannot control Bitcoin. That's the very definition of Bitcoin. He can't do it. Can he control the truths? Can he control the DWAC? Sorry, I beg your pardon. DJT. It used to be DWAC, remember years ago. DJT stock. It goes up and down like a flipping yo-yo. Every time it goes up, they sell it. Every time it goes down, they buy it back. It's not a stock to invest in. It's a gambling stock. The Trump trade is a very, very dangerous thing to get involved with if you do not understand what you're buying. Now, this should alarm you because it's kind of important. The Kremlin denies Ukraine talks with Trump as expert warns things not looking good for Kyiv. As they say in America, Kyiv, but it's Kyiv, just want to say. Donald Trump urged Vladimir Putin not to escalate the war in Ukraine in a phone call 2 days after the presidential election, according to reports. But the Kremlin says this isn't true. The information that came from Donald Trump making this phone call came from him, came from his team, in perhaps the hope that they would. I don't know. Don't see the point of making up stories because you always look silly. I always remember, and you can't take away this. This is just a fact. When Trump said it was the greatest inauguration in history, and then I looked at the photographs of his inauguration and Obama's inauguration, the difference was unbelievable. It was packed full miles back with the Obama one, and Trump, it was only full about a third of the way down, and then it was empty. I don't know how he says that. Also, I want to make another point as we get on to validating facts. It's so important to validate facts. Trump just said it was the greatest win of our time. The greatest ever win, the greatest ever movement, the greatest. The fact of the matter is, and I've done a lot of research on the numbers over the last 24 hours, no more Trump supporters came out than they did previous election. What happened was the Democrats didn't come out and support Harris. Their numbers were dramatically down. So actually, it wasn't the greatest win in history. It was the fact that the others didn't come out. You won a decisive victory. That's true. However, it wasn't because more and more people and everybody in America chose Donald Trump. They actually didn't. It was just less Democrats bothered to turn up. Just want to make that absolutely clear. Anyway, meanwhile, an analyst has said he expects Donald Trump will throw Ukraine under the bus. This is what I think is actually going to happen in Ukraine. I'll just give you that in a moment. Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump reportedly spoke on the phone about Ukraine on Thursday. That never happened. Let me share this report here. Kremlin denies calls between Trump and Putin. Now, we cannot always trust what what Putin says. Obviously, we can't trust what the Kremlin say. We can't. There's lots of evidence to say they report falsely as well. However, if they'd had a call with the president-elect, they would have wanted to admit that. They wouldn't want to deny that. Anyway, let's read what it says. The Kremlin has denied that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin engaged, thank you very much for my extra subscriber, Roy, in a, just waiting for that to clear a second, phone call last week when the US president-elect urged the Russian leader not to escalate the war in Ukraine. Now, before I read the rest of this, I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen in Ukraine. I have some experience of this. I've traveled to Ukraine. I've traveled all over the Eastern Europe. I've traveled, in fact, all over the world. But I'm going to share with you what I think is going to happen. I don't believe for a moment that Donald Trump has spoken to Putin yet. I think that was incorrect. I'm not going to use the word lie, but you said something that's incorrect, okay? Don't think that's true. However, when he becomes president, he will speak to Putin at that point, I've no doubt. And this is what I think is going to happen. Donald Trump wants to win the popular vote. He wants to be loved by everybody, and he wants to look the hero. So I think Donald Trump will speak to Putin, and Putin will say, okay, I will have a ceasefire, and I will say the war is over, and Russian forces will return to Russia, as long as I can keep this little bit of Ukraine. A few territories he'll want to keep. All right, that way he can claim a victory, and he will gain more of Ukraine and then leave and then regroup again for a future war, potentially. I think Donald Trump will accept that. Now, you might say Zelensky wouldn't accept that. He doesn't accept that because he wants the whole of his country intact for his people. Imagine if somebody in Russia had invaded America and said, well, and America say, well, we'll call an end to it, but, we'll just let you have California. Well, that's not going to happen, is it? We're not going to give away half the country or part of the country. Zelensky doesn't want to do that. However, Trump will probably accept that, because if he accepts that, he basically throws Zelensky under the bus, literally, because he will end the war. He will claim it's because of him. He will claim it's a victory, of course. He will claim I ended the war in 5 minutes. And he will claim that it saves lives, and he will claim it saves money, which of course it will, and the war will end. However, what will happen is part of Ukraine will end up being in Russian control, and the Ukrainians will just be told to stuff it, get on with it, basically throwing Zelensky under the bus. And basically, we've wasted billions of dollars and millions of lives that were lost because of this, just to end up pretty much where we started, because we already had Russia controlling Crimea. It'll just be an extension of that. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think Donald Trump's going to say, yep, the war's over. Putin will go, brilliant, I've got another little bit of Ukraine. He'll go back, he will group, and he'll come back in a few years and start it all over again. That's what I think will happen. Anyway, the Washington Post and Reuters both reported that the call, which is said to have taken place in the days after the US election, also saw Mr. Trump remind Putin of America's sizable military presence in Europe. According to several other sources, the pair went on to discuss the goal of peace on the continent, as well as the prospect of a further call soon to look into the resolution of the conflict in Ukraine. The Kremlin has denied such a call took place, calling the Washington Post report pure fiction. This is the clearest example of quality of information sometimes published, even in fairly reputable publications. It is entirely inaccurate. This is pure fabrication. It is simply false information, said Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov. He added that Mr. Putin has no specific plans to speak to Trump at the moment. Our Moscow correspondent for Ivor Bennett says Russia's denial of the call highlights how the Kremlin's interpretation of a second term of Mr. Trump is very hard to know. They are keeping their cards very close to their chest. So do you believe, and I'd love your thoughts, let me just come back down here. Do you believe that Trump had a conversation with Putin or not? What we'll do is we'll run a poll on our community tab on our YouTube channel. I'll show you where that is. Right at the top of our channel, I will create a poll, and I will do it live right now. So here we go. I will put this here. Community. There we go. Reports suggest no call took place between Trump and Putin. Trump claimed he had such a call. Do you believe a call between Putin and Trump really took place? Whoops a daisy. Sorry about my typing this morning. Really took place. So I'm going to do a couple of things here. So I'll just put my tag. So this is how we rank on Google. Martyn Lucas Investor. And then I'm going to add here Trump. Whoops a daisy. Trump. Putin. Donald Trump. Don't need Vladimir Putin, that's fine. Text pool. Yes, a call took place. No, I don't believe so. Okay, or you can add, of course, we always want to add undecided, because some people just don't know, and it's better to give them an option rather than to simply make something up if you don't have an opinion on it. All right, no, I don't believe so. Yes, a call took place. So I will post that, and you can go and vote on that. And these rank these rank on Google as searches now, which is very exciting for the channel. So do leave your thoughts, comments, share that out and post it on your social media, and you might like to take part in that poll. But what do you think? The Trump trade, I thought it was worth mentioning this morning. Be very careful. DJT is very risky. Bitcoin now is the wrong time to buy it. You bought it in the bear market, not the bull market. Donald Trump can't control Bitcoin. That's the very definition of what Bitcoin is all about. And is this true? I'm waiting for my first poll. Let's see if anyone votes. I've only got a couple of seconds and I'm going to go, but I'll be interested to see how it swings very quickly if we get a chance. Click above my head for all the links down below in the description. Is anyone going to vote on it in time? I don't think so. Over here, I shall put, I think I might be able to put the link for the poll. Go and check it out. And down here, the Donald Trump trades, the ones that I explained to you that did actually make money for you, go and check those out. I've got a full playlist there. All right, until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.